Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my most highly requested video. Some of you have been waiting for this for a very long time. This is my brow routine, and I'm also starting up my 101 series, so this is just going to be Brows 101. I'm just going to take you through the steps of how I fill in my brows on an everyday basis. I don't do anything too crazy. I like my brows to look as natural as possible, but they are pretty sparse. You guys will see in the video that I have dark eyebrow hair, but they are very sparse. So with my dark features, they just kind of get lost on my face, and I feel like eyebrows are so important. They just bring everything together and give your face so much more structure. So like I said, I don't do anything crazy, but I am using all Anastasia products today. If you guys want to see a drugstore version, then let me know in the comments below, because I do have some stuff that I love for drugstore eyebrows as well. So if you'd just like to see how I fill my eyebrows and how I get them to look like this, then just keep on watching. So I've already waxed and groomed my eyebrows. If you guys want to see a separate video on that, then let me know in the comments below. But I'm just taking my brow wiz and I take the spoolie in and just brush all the hairs in the direction that I want them to stay. And then I start on mapping out the shape of my brow first. And I always start on the bottom. So I'm just going along kind of the normal shape of my eyebrow. I'm not doing anything too crazy until I get to the tail end of my brow, and I just extend that a little bit. Then I start building up the top of my brow, and I always start at the arch, and then I start building that area up, and then I take it all the way back down to the tail of my brow, and then I start filling it in. The way that I fill in my brows, I like to do more stroke motions, like short little strokes, and that just mimics hair a little bit more naturally. Now I go to the front of my brow, and I always use a very, very light hand whenever I do this, because you don't want the front of your brow to look too harsh because it can make you look angry. So I use a really light hand, and I just go over the very top of my brow, and then I'm just doing up and down little flicking motions, and this is the most natural way to mimic the hair growth in that area. Then I just flip that brow wiz over, and I take the spoolie in and brush all the hairs in the direction that I want them to lay again. And this step is so important. It just brings everything together and makes it a little bit more natural again. I know I keep saying natural, but I really want to emphasize that I don't like to have like super drawn on cartoony eyebrows, and this is how I do it. So I'm basically doing the exact same steps on this eyebrow, except my eyebrows are two completely different shapes. This one is super round, like on the bottom side, so I'm just kind of filling in that area. You can see like right underneath my arch. I did that a little bit more than I did on my other eyebrow, but I'm basically just going with the natural shape of my eyebrow and extending the tail just like I did before, and then building up my arch. And this one, like I said, is super round, so I do have to focus a little bit more on that arch area, and then just filling it in using those small stroking motions. And when I fill in the arch and tail end of my eyebrow, I do apply a little bit more pressure just so it's a little darker than the front end of my eyebrow. I want to have a nice gradient effect. So I fill in the front pretty lightly, and then I use a little bit more pressure when I fill in that area. So once I get all of it filled in, I just go in with my spoolie once again, just brushing everything in place and making sure that it looks nicely blended. You could totally stop here. This is what my eyebrows look like with just the brow wiz, but I also like to go in with the powder that I dropped right before this tutorial. This is her dark brown duo, and I'm using the light side. I only use the light side out of this. I don't want to add any more darkness to my brows, so I'm just going over my eyebrows with this really lightly, and you can see it just fills in those areas that were a little bit patchy. I prefer doing this over adding more of the brow wiz. I feel like it just makes them look more natural, and they also look a little bit fuller with the powder. So I just go over my entire eyebrow, and I really will focus if I have any patchy areas, like the part on my eyebrow where my hair just will not grow back. And then I will set my brows in place with her clear brow gel, and I do wipe off a ton of the product. I just like to have a little bit on my brush, so I will just brush all of the hairs in place. I brush the front of my brow up, and then I will start brushing them back whenever I get to the arch of my brow. And this stuff will seriously keep your brows in place all day long. The tail of my brow likes to be like droopy and just sit really weird, so I have to do this step. Now to emphasize the arches of my brows, I'm taking my Benefit Highbrow, and I just go right along the bottom of the arch, and then I also take this all the way down to the tail of my brow, and I just apply that and then blend it out with my finger, and this is going to give the eyebrow a little bit more lift and really emphasize those arches. And here are what my brows look like when they are done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!